time to talk about Bubba Wallace, right? Um, I don't know if you guys watched the post-race interview there with Bubba Wallace after the race, but I took it in probably a very different way than most people did, right? Most people probably like, oh, that's just Bubba Wallace complaining and whining and moaning again like he always does. I didn't see it that way. I didn't interpret it that way. I think you could see it in his eyes. There's a fire there now. There's a fiery passion. His season turned around before Watkins Glen. He mentioned before that, or in his post-race interview, that was probably the best road course race he's ever ran in his entire career. Got a great finish, did exactly what he needed to do to secure himself into the playoffs. And they didn't make any mistakes at Talladega, survived, or at Daytona for the season finale, survived all the wrecks, made some great moves, and really put himself in position to point his way in. Phenomenal job there. Start the first round. He was on fire that first round. I mean, this was a Bubba Wallace we haven't seen since his Truck Series days. I mean, absolutely insane round. And proved everybody wrong. Proved me wrong. I didn't think he could do it. I really did. And now he's in the round of 12. Qualifies on pole. Runs up front most of the day. Battles for the win. And he said the best restarter in the race. Choked it on the final restart. Had two good restarts and then had a bad one for the final one. Best restarter in the game. This whole interview, I just got the vibe that there's a fire underneath him. And it wasn't one of those, dang it, I lost this race and moan, cry about it, complain, and then he loses focus. This was one of those races where it's like, he's got confidence on high right now. Like, Bubba Wallace was just oozing confidence in this interview. Yes, he was a little upset, and that was a little bit of raw emotion. I don't think that was typical Bubba Wallace emotion. That was raw emotion from confidence. He is on a mission this season, and being 2 points down right now with Talladega coming up, I think that's a race he could win. I think that's a race he can run up front all day and get a ton of stage points. I don't think that's a bad race for him. I think he's going to do good. I don't see him making these bad mistakes. He said he choked at the end of this race, and I don't think so. I think that's just racing. At the end of these races, they're so unpredictable. I don't think he could have done anything different to win that race. I really don't. And he ran great all day. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And I don't think he's ashamed of it either. I think there's a fire underneath him. And this leads me to my next point here is, Tom sent this to me, actually. It was kind of a meme, but it says, it's got a picture of Bubba Wallace and says, haha, you finished third, you choked, and are the worst driver ever in NASCAR. Then it's got a picture of Haley Deegan, and it says, awesome job on your 20th place finish, hun. Only 3 laps down, but you were running really good in the end. You're the absolute best. We need to get you in a top Cup Series ride. All right, this brings me to my point. Right, wrap this all up. Bubba Wallace is just getting all of this hate for things off track, which I understand, but right now we need to start judging these drivers by their driving ability, right? We've got all of these people on, like I mentioned, these fans that are delusional. We've talked about time and time again on our channel, supporting people because of their off-track stuff, right? Or hating drivers because of their off-track stuff. But right now, in these playoffs, we've got to start judging these drivers by their on-track activity. I would say I was one of Bubba Wallace's biggest supporters early in his career, even when he drove those terrible Roush cars back in 2016, 17 in the 6. Just, you guys probably don't even remember that he was in those. Honestly, you probably don't. Probably don't even remember. But he was running decent, and I was a big supporter. I could see the talent even when other people weren't. And I believe that things changed around the time that he went to Petty and got into the Cup Series. Things started to go downhill. I think his anxiety got really bad. I think that his performances were bad, and it really affected his confidence levels. And then other things off track affected him, and then fans started getting into his head. And nobody could figure anything out to reel him in, right? And I lost a lot of faith in his ability to win races and be competitive. And then other things happened and stacked on, and now it's to the point where it's like Bubba Wallace is finding ways to lose races. And then when he runs good, he tries too hard and makes mistakes, and he's his biggest enemy is himself because he gets too much in his head. Like I say a lot with Denny Hamlin. I think we're seeing a Bubba Wallace that we haven't seen in a long time. And I believe He is going to make this round of 8. Regardless of a win, he is going to point his way into this round of 8. I believe that he is on a mission right now to prove everybody wrong. He's proven me wrong, and I'm done doubting him. Every time I'm doubting him, what does he do? He goes out and has one of his best races ever. Watkins Glen. I counted him completely out. I was like, we're at Watkins Glen. This guy can't drive a road course. He's going to lose so many points here. He's not going to make the playoffs. Daytona, he's going to drive over his head. He's going to make a mistake. He's going to wreck. He's going to not make the playoffs. Made the playoffs. Start of the playoffs, round of 16. Darlington, and he's going to get in his head. He's not going to be able to do good. This is a very tough track. Boom. Has a great performance. I mean, and then backs it up at Kansas, and then backs it up at Bristol. Only like 2 points to the good. And with multiple cars just breathing down his neck, didn't make any mistakes and advanced. He advanced. This guy has no stage wins, no playoff points. He did a deep, deep hole and just completely prevails. I mean, this is a storyline people need to get back behind. I mean, whatever you believe or what your opinions are of Bubba Wallace, I think you need to start putting those behind you and start focusing on what he's doing on track right now, because what he's doing on track right now is absolutely insane. And I think we need to start appreciating it. I think he's going to make the round of 8. Whether he can go further than that or not, it's going to be all determining on wins, right? Can he win some races in the round of 8? Can he maybe win one here in the round of 12? These playoff points are going to be a huge hindrance to him to make it to the Final Four. But I'm done doubting him. I think he could do it. I'm going with a hot take. I think he makes the round of 8. I really do. And I think we see him running up front more often in a couple of these races. And I think he could really win a couple of these races coming up. He really could. It's time to quit sleeping on Bubba Wallace as an auto championship favorite. I think he is stepping up and he is looking like a championship favorite. He is running up front. You can't hide from the facts. You can't hide from what you see visually every week. Hate it or love it, what I just said, that's my opinion. And I'm going to leave it at that.